What's up, everybody? It's your boy CEO, joined by the one and only Alexia, as always. As you guys can see, we're doing something a little bit different from what we usually do.
Also, peep these straps, okay? I'm definitely not naked.
She was very self-conscious about that, y'all, so
I
she
was.
just needed to get that off her chest. Now that we got that out the way, Alexia's fully clothed. Get your minds out the gutter.
Why did you have to take it that far?
Hey, you brought it up. So anyways, guys, today, as you can see already on the screen, we're going to be reacting to Middle Ground, which is a kind of show or series that Jubilee has, their main channel. Now, we don't usually do stuff like this on our podcast. We usually talk about certain subjects and topic matters. But, I watch Middle Ground. I don't watch all of them. I watch some of them. It just when depending on the subject matter that they're talking about. Because me as a person, I just like to hear different points of views on certain subjects that, are hot topics in the media that people talk about. Just for me to get a more informed opinion or just, perspective on things. Alexia doesn't watch this at all. But I have seen a couple Middle Grounds. I don't know if some medias are in these top 10. Two of them, I saw the first two. I saw it. The second I saw it, I was like, ooh. I was like, I really want to get Alexia in on here. And
Wait, so somebody, compiled, 10 topics, and put it in this video, and they're saying that these are,
Jubilee themselves did it. This is the Jubilee channel.
Okay, sorry. Someone from Jubilee is what I was trying to say. Put these 10 topics, on a tier, and they're like, these 10 are, wow, and you should peep this.
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
So this isn't an actual episode or anything. This
no.
Clips
this
from
is
different...
from multiple different talking points, and these are just the top 10 moments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna be supplying some commentary, our thoughts on this. Once again, these are just our opinions. You may disagree with our viewpoints or whatever, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to get hostile. Just
I walked
Middle
in this
Ground.
podcast 90% blind. Chris is like, we're just gonna give our opinions. I'm like, all right, the fuck, I guess so.
See, Alexia tried to throw me into things blind, so I gotta return the favor. So.
And I already this should be on the Patreon.
The second one I saw, that's one for me. I was like, oh, I want to see Alexia's point of view because I had some thoughts, but I was like, I can't talk to myself. That's whack. And I was like, all right.
Okay. Unfiltered or
Be you. Just be you.
Damn. All right.
All right, Alexia, before we start, what are you expecting from this? Or are you just like, you know what? Let's just get this rolling.
I have really no idea what to expect. You've shown me Jubilee in the past, and they're just not controversial, but very and not offensive either, but if you grab 10 random people off the street and then you ask them a sensitive-ish question, that's what I think this is. So I can only imagine that these 10 are the 10 most controversial questions. That's what I'm guessing. So I guess, I don't know, we'll see.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to get into this, y'all. Let's enjoy this journey.
Behind the struggle.
That's right. Get ready to struggle with us. All right, so let's... Trans
There
men.
is a right and wrong way to be a man. Take a second to think about it.
Hold on, sorry.
Sure, what's up?
Sorry. I don't mean to pause it immediately, but... Just explain to me Jubilee, right? Why does it say trans men versus conservative men?
Okay, so those are the groups. So on
that makes sense.
Yeah, on the right side with the black guy that's walking towards the chairs right now, that side is all the conservative men. On the opposite side, those are the trans men. So they'll bring up a talking point do you agree or disagree with this point?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so whoever walks up agrees with the prompt. And then after they say their piece, then all the disagreeers come up and discuss it.
Oh, so that's even more targeted than I thought. They got literally trans men and not just regular men, conservative men. And there's a right and a wrong way to be a man?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, okay. Sorry,
right.
I get it now.
Okay.
I think that when I originally heard the question being asked, I didn't agree with it, but men are not abusive individuals. Men are not to be cowards. Men are to lead their families. And men who do not display that, I don't believe that they are men, in my opinion. And all of the qualities that I see in my father is what I believe a man should be.
All of those characteristics are what make a man. And when I see a man be a coward in the truth, in just speaking the truth, or sticking up for what's right, especially today in America with everything going on, I'm like, those are not men.
Interesting.
Wait, wasn't that a trans guy?
What was that?
Was he trans because he was sitting on the other side?
No. He was a conservative guy.
Oh, so what the? I'm confused. Both those guys were conservatives?
Yeah. Both conservative men stepped up.
Why were they sitting on opposite sides?
I guess just to look across from each other where they talked.
Oh, I thought that guy was trans, and I was really confused. So I didn't hear anything that he said because I was like, that's a trans man?
I saw your face, and I was like...
Should I? I don't want to say something again, but...
All right, so...
It's going to be a bitch
At the end of the
edit.
day, we're all men.
Yeah.
And I don't believe there's any wrong way to be a man. We're just redefining what it means to be a man.
But there are things that naturally come to men. So when you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in
I
society
would believe that
has
guy
kept
if he
the
said he
human
was a
race
trans.
and got it to where it is today. So just like aimlessly throwing out, oh, well, we're just redefining what it is to be a man. That's not just like a light subject that we should be talking about.
But why do you think they have to stay the same? Why do we need to have the same thing for hundreds and hundreds
So
of years?
all
Do you not
four of
see the
those
state
guys
of
are
the
women?
Thing. It's just,
You just
it's
said.
keeping
Yeah.
the same
Sorry,
quality.
Yeah, all four of those guys on the opposite side are all trans. They're all women who transition to being men.
Okay, well, obviously none of them was going to come out and agree in the beginning. Obviously. But yeah, let's see what they have to say, because two of them definitely just look like men, so...
Yeah. The one thing I will say, like, I personally, like, not offended, but I do kind of take it some kind of way when someone's like, well, just redefine what it means to be a man. I'm like, oh, you can... What the heck? Like...
Oh. Well, the only thing I'll say about that, obviously, like, it's not even like... Oh, I never thought of that. It's probably on everyone's minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Like, if I were to be like, well, if you were to be like, we need to redefine what it means to be a woman, and then all the women get offended in the room, and they're like, well, you can't have a kid, and that's like, and I agree with that. But the point is, you can't do one and not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope these trans women, men, whatever they're called, for real. Sorry. I hope that if they're like, well, we should really look at what it means to be a man, I hope that they're completely 1,000% open to also redefining what it is to be a woman, and not just for their sexual pleasure, so they can be like, yeah, I'm a man and I want a woman who recognizes that I'm a man. I don't want a woman that just appeases me. I want a woman that's like, yeah, that's my man. You know, like, I hope that they're like, yeah, men can be women just as much as I can be a man.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Kind of. I mean, it's just, to me, like, just a statement, just kind of just, and this may be like a little extreme for my take on it, but it just sounds like an attack on masculinity. It's like,
well,
we're just
I don't agree with them
redefining.
at all, but I'm just saying, if they're saying that, then they better be on the same exact page when we flip the genders.
Yeah, the sword needs to swing on both sides.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But I don't agree with that at all. So.
Yeah.
You see the state of our world today. It's not perfect. It's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
So, we're talking about redesigning what it means to be a man. So, what do you want to bring to traditional men?
I think it's embracing that you can be vulnerable. I think that a lot of men want to portray strength, but men are people, and I know that men have feelings.
Being a man and masculinity, those are two different things. And I believe that we can redefine whatever that means to anybody by including other types of men or other types of masculinity. I myself am a father, I have a child. Some people would disagree with me being a father because I am transgender. But that being said, I present to the world as a male, my child sees me as a man.
There's proper ways to be vulnerable, right? You don't have to break down in front of your family and cry. It's okay to suffer silence as well. Strong men, I believe, exude the qualities that you guys are referring to. I think the problem is overcorrection, right? Some people believe that men need to cry and lay on the ground and be feminine like women.
Okay,
whoa. Why'd they cut it there? Because the conversation barely got started, and those last two trans?
They look like dudes, I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, yeah, like...
They look like straight up dudes.
I would never like, and he's like, or she's like, whatever. I'm a father, and my son knows that I'm their dad. I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? What's going on? Those two did look like actual men, though. But that again doesn't make you biologically a man, because I hate to throw this argument out there, but like, you know, you can't refute it. You know, all 8 of those people in that room gonna die. When we find your bones buried in the ground or whatever, 1,000 years later, your hip bones are going to show that you're a woman. Not a single person's gonna be like, this was definitely a man, or this was definitely a woman that really was a man trapped in a woman's body, because no, like,
Yeah, biologically, it's gonna tell a different story.
wild. But
Yeah, I mean, my takes on it, it's very simple. Like when he was saying, oh, that like men could be vulnerable, and like I understand that, but that's not introducing anything new. I agree there are certain men that lack emotional intelligence or are unable to express their emotions the right way, so they lash out. So I don't agree with what the other guy said at the conservative men, where like, you know, oh, like, you know, men can suffer in silence, and I don't agree with that. Like, suffering in silence is not also the answer, because the suicide rates are so high for men. But, you know, I think it's just knowing how to communicate and making sure you have safe spaces in order to express yourself freely without judgment. Because I feel like a lot of people just feel trapped and keep all these things to themselves because they're scared of judgment.
Well, that guy was talking about not redefining. What did he bring up? Well, the point is, in the beginning, he was one of the first ones to come out and say that men are, in fact, like, there's only one way to be a man.
Yeah.
And he just seemed a little old school. So, like, not knocking him, but, I mean, yeah, men, first of all, most of them these days do not suffer in silence. They think they are, but their silence is loud as shit, and they be fucking disrupting everyone in their vicinity. Anyway.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
You said unfiltered. But he's also like this sort of old head in a sense, where he's like, men are supposed to not cry when they get cut and suffer in silence and blah, blah. So, like, I don't agree with him either, but you can see clearly where he's coming from by the way that he interacts with the other people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the way he carries himself. Even like his last statement that he said before they cut it to the next segment was, he was like, like men don't need to be on the ground crying on the floor like women. Like that's a feminine thing. And to me, I'm like, I don't think that's innately a feminine trait. I know a lot of women who hold a lot of things in too, and you never see them cry. Like they barely.
I know a
break
lot of
down.
women that are stronger than a lot of the men that I know as well. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
so bottom line, if I were to answer that question, I mean, I wasn't on the panel, I would
But you are now.
probably not like take a seat in the beginning, but we're talking about trans men and then conservative men, which those are like extreme sides. So like biologically, absolutely. But like
Yeah.
if we're talking about, defining men, see, the thing is that conversation was sort of leaning towards like still separating a man from a woman, which makes sense because there were trans people involved or whatever. But it's kind of like, if you're asking a question, that's the question. We didn't say what can a man do that a woman can and what can't a man do that a woman can't. We said, can a man, is there a clear definition for a man or whatever? And
Yeah, is there a
it's kind of like,
right way to be a man?
oh, thanks. Is
Yeah.
there a right way to be a man? And it's kind of like, actually, no. But again, if we're talking physical or biologically, yeah, but that's not the definition. The word isn't right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what would you use? Like, not natural, but like, I guess nature, right? So it's not right. It's just biology.
Yeah, I think the prompt would have been better stated if he said, there's a right way to be masculine. Because I think when you think man, I just think of gender or sex, so I'm like,
Exactly.
biologically like that. But like masculinity, okay, well, that's a different thing because there are obviously different thoughts on masculinity as well as there are different thoughts on femininity,
Yeah.
So like there is no one set way and like it is nuanced. But to be like we're just redefining it, I think is a little, wild.
I
But-
think that's better worded as well, but then again, if it were worded like that, I don't think anybody would have sat in the beginning and they all would have just had a conversation like why they all agree for the second.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure they knew
So
what they were
that's
doing.
probably, yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, to elicit a response. All right,
Okay.
so this is the second one. This is the one where when I saw this, I was like, oh, gotta get Alexia on here. This one I stopped watching.
Okay,
So-
hold on. Before you play, because this
Yeah.
one has only 6 people.
Yeah.
But now we've got Satanists versus major religions.
Yeah.
That's crazy that there's only 6. And if the prompt is, I believe Satan is evil, I'm sure you probably won my answer at the end, I guess. But
Yeah. But,
this is a wild prompt, no matter if
Ooh.
you're a Satanist or a major religious person.
Wait till you see what the Satanist says. So on the left, we have the Satanist, and on the right, I think there's someone from Islam, a Muslim, and a Christian. So the prompt comes up, and they're going to see who agrees with this prompt. So enough talking, let's rock.
I believe Satan is evil. Wait, why did you stop?
I was trying to play it out in my head, but then I realized I don't agree with that in a sense, yeah.
Well, the fact that there is a Satan who is real and the fact that he is evil is, it's an important, pretty central belief that we hold in the Christian faith, and that there is a good and loving God and a Satan who is evil.
So let's go back to Genesis, okay? God wanted to keep humans from eating the fruit of knowledge, correct? And Satan, or the serpent, wanted to give humans that knowledge. I believe that's a good action.
It's a good action.
That's a good action. That's justifiable.
The first person to advocate.
Thank you.
for
Thank you for
rights.
all this
Yes.
suffering. Thank you
We
so
only
much.
heard God's perspective,
Yeah.
and from my perspective, just looking into the Bible, it's like we didn't hear Satan's perspective. Maybe he said, "This is God
Why
is
does
a
she look like
tyrannical
someone
God,
punched
and
her
I'm
in the
going to
face?"
rebel from him, and I'm going to become a fallen angel
it
to
didn't,
help
come back.
mankind."
What was that?
Like in the cartoons, like back in the day, like why does it look like someone like punched her in the face and it never like came back out?
Oh, maybe because she believes in Satan. Who knows?
Damn. Okay.
My interpretation and understanding of that story is that God created an environment where and it was an environment of love and peace, and
Why
where
does Satanists
his
gotta be
children that he
fucking
created
weird
and
like
who he
that,
loved,
though?
who he created in his image would.
They were naked and they didn't have understanding.
Yeah. And that they would. This is an environment for them to.
So
babies.
Wait, we gotta hear his whole point.
To flourish, and so he puts them in this environment, and he desires for them to flourish and to live in unashamed relationship with him and his perfection and his glory.
Naked.
And
Hold on. I just feel like, statements or arguments aside, I just want to give kudos to this guy Sean, the Christian, because it's literally him like going toe to toe against these 3 Satanists. And to me, I don't know these individuals, but they just kind of like rubbing me the wrong way. They're looking all like snarky, like can't wait till they just like shit on you and joke on you and like really dismantle God. And to me, I'm like, get off your high horse. Like, just be open minded. It's like you're not listening to listen, you're listening to respond. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to bias my like responses, or my body language, but this guy that you froze, he like creeps me out. And like,
Looks like a vampire.
I'm a Christian, okay? We're supposed to love everyone. Jesus loves him as well, but I am not Jesus and I'm not perfect, and I'm just like, ugh. Jesus would never make a face at him, but I'm not him. So, yeah, he just makes me uncomfortable. And the other girl is just also wildly awkward looking.
Again,
and stupid.
I see God making simple playthings because he's bored, if it's real then, and then saying, don't do this because I don't want you on my level. And if you do, I have to make sure you can't live forever so you really don't get on my level.
would you think that if you heard that one of your friends was having a baby and you'd say, oh, you're just making a plaything for your...
Depending on their intention of having the baby,
There are some
possibly.
parents who use their kids as their playthings.
Yeah.
But that's how I see
Semantics.
the same generative love that out of which God created us.
I think for me, from as much knowledge as I have about Satan, I think Satan is a symbol of freedom and liberty, right? So that is not evil. Of course, like we discussed before, if people commit wrong deeds in the name of Satan, then that's wrong.
For me, I flip-flopped a little only because I don't think that on his own, the devil, Satan, is evil. I think he's used to represent evil. Whether he does or not, that's what he's used for. It's like very much, his character is very much used to say, like, you do something wrong, like, oh, that's an act of, like, the devil, kind of.
I don't know if you or they know this, but, and I know you said you, like, under your breath said semantics earlier, so maybe this is the same thing. But Satan is not like a individual. Satan is like, what is wrong with me in English today?
I don't know. I'm enjoying the show.
I'm really trying to think of like the word, but I can't even think of the word.
She's got stage fright.
No, what's wrong with me? The point is, Satan is whatever the word I'm looking for is the opposite of saint, right? So, and I'm not like, ooh, I did something cool phonetics. No, I'm dead ass. Like if you were to say like Saint George, Saint Mary, Saint whatever, it's a title. That's the word I'm looking for. Title, yay! So Satan is actually a title. So not many people know this. So it's not, Satan is not his name. It's like, it would be in a sense Satan Lucifer, Satan, whatever vampire guy's name was.
Or Satan Damien. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So when you're, and I understand that for the purposes of the question, they're talking about probably Lucifer or the devil himself. So that's what they mean.
Yeah.
But Satan, in the actual like connotation, like the definition, is evil. So maybe the question again was worded wrong, but they just wanted to rise out of these people. I don't know. But for you to be like, oh, I don't know, he was trying to give us knowledge because God wanted to keep us stupid. It was kind of like, in a small way, that's true, but it only in the same way that like children are innocent because they're ignorant. So if you think that that's stupid, I'm sorry for you, but that ignorance is bliss. That's not a quote that's just made out of nowhere. Like, it was literally like, the more knowledge we have, I mean, it was great that we got, fire and our brains developed and everything. Like, cool.
Yeah.
But again, with that, even in Greek mythology, opens up Pandora's box of all this suffering. And what's wild about Pandora's box, and I don't want to change the subject or religion, but like, Pandora's box brought out all, grief, sorrow, hatred, like negativity, fear, like all this negative shit.
Yeah.
And then it also gave us hope. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, at least there's that. Like, I'm so sad that my whole family died and my whole farm is crap, but at least I have some hope. And it's kind of like, is that a good thing, though? Or is hope actually just as bad as everything else? Because it seems positive, but, like, if you're hanging on to a little bit of hope, then you're literally out here hoping that something's going to get better when there's no guarantee that it is. So it's actually stunting you from, like, healing, growing, moving on, and loving again, because you're hopeful that something else will save you instead of yourself or Jesus, for that matter.
Yeah. I also want to touch on the point that you brought up earlier, because that's what I was thinking of. It's like, they want to say, oh, God, didn't give us choice. Like, he, put us, in a little box and just had us, stupid and naked, and that's what he wanted us. But it's like, going back to your point, when you look at a child, it's like, yeah, you don't just let a child roam free because a child is ignorant. They don't know all the things. So you have to do it in breadcrumbs. You have to teach them. And then as they get older, as they expand their knowledge, you're guiding them. That's the guidance. That's what it is of being a parent to a child. And that's what God was doing for us. Because even now, in our having our free will and having our own consciousness, we still can't even grasp all of God. That's why there's that thing where it's like, oh, God's will, I'm doing on God's timing, not my time, but God's time, because we can't understand or even operate on a minute percentage of God's level. He's literally the creator of everything. For us to have the audacity to be like, oh, well, we deserve that. I'm looking at the people right there. in that circle talking. Like, you can't even control your emotions to try and have a decent conversation. You think from conception you deserve the power of God? Like,
Well,
that's crazy to me.
Vampire Guy was also wild for repeating himself by being like naked and stupid. And it's like, do you think that you're clothed and intelligent? I mean, yeah, you have clothes on, good for you. But like, I don't know. For me, the older that I get, the more I'm realizing how much I don't know, even though I'm learning every day. And I think infinity is just one of those things that humans literally cannot grasp. It's impossible. It's impossible to grasp. So let alone infinity, but then like the greatness of God, they're kind of equal, infinity and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't equate it. I can't prove myself right. You can't prove me wrong. So
Another thing also is that like they wanted to like, oh, you know, like that's a good deed of what Satan did, you know, but it's like, do you really understand like the story? Like, Lucifer was a fallen angel because he was jealous of God's creation. That's what it was. So when he came as the serpent and gave Eve the apple, he introduced sin into the world. Like, he tainted us because of his jealousy against us. He wanted to be better. So you really want to say, oh, well, he gave us knowledge. Yeah, he also gave us damnation. So like, really, like, thanks, I guess. Like, thanks a lot, buddy. You're a great guy. Thanks for
I don't
help.
want to stay on this topic all day because we're only 2 in, but there's a small TikTok trend going around right now, so this is kind of relevant, where people are like trying to ask others, including like Christians, and they're trying to get them to like fumble or whatever, and they're like, if like Satan is so evil and the devil is so bad, why would he make you suffer for eternity for going against Jesus? And everyone's like tripping over themselves like, oh yeah, well, if he wants us to do bad and we do what he says, he would reward us. So hell is not a place where we're going to get punished our whole lives. And I just like, you all, and sadly, even the ones that are trying to answer like with faith, you look dumb, because Satan, like the devil, does not give a shit about you. So he's trying to get you to like stray away from Jesus. And then once you're there, he would reward you with things that only hurt you. So if you think that like $1 billion and a wife with huge tits, you know what I'm saying, like as a reward, you know, that $1 billion, everything you buy with it's cursed. That woman that has huge tits is cheating on you, doesn't like you, has 2 kids with somebody else that you think are yours. Like, those are not blessings, my guy.
Or better yet, he's like that dude that makes you think he's going to make you become a billionaire or a millionaire, but he's just getting you in on a pyramid scheme. And once he gets you in, he doesn't care.
Right. So then when you die, right, and you go to hell, the devil's not like, good job, you like, I gave you treasures on earth.
Yeah, like, high five, buddy. Ooh,
yeah, of course he's still going to torture you because he doesn't love you. He doesn't care about you. So all these questions and all these answers, there's your answer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if the
but he's also still jealous and still envious of you. That's another reason why he's torturing you, because every time he sees you, he sees God's creation that God loved over him. So he's always going to hate you. He's not going to be like, oh, those are my people. You know, it's like, you're always going to be the ops to him, like, always.
Yeah, so the devil blesses you too, but, you know, it's like that quote, everything is going to be all right in the end, and if everything's not all right, then it's not the end. So, you know, like, devil blesses you with something good, and it's the devil blessing you, it's going to turn on you. You know what I mean? Like, he can give you acres and acres of, you know, apple trees, dead, rotten, all of them, poisonous apples. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing good comes from that. So
it bears bad fruit. And also, that was a nice change of pace. So, you know, Alexia coming in with the quotes. It's usually me.